the Think Well Back to Life system. 5 minutes. We only have 5 minutes, so here we go. This is Think Well, Emotional Journey to Wellness by Dr. Mark Schuler. Please provide us with your email if you go to backtolifechiropractic.com and then you go to the 5-minute workshops. There's a little contact form on the bottom, and we can give you all the this information and the HeartMath certificate. Excuse me. So what does this plant require? Clean water, sunlight, nutrient-rich soil. So what does the body require? Proper nutrition, proper movement and exercise, and proper thoughts. A lot of people overlook this, but your health is physical, chemical, emotional. So you got to work on all 3 of them. So a lot of research longer. They're always expecting the worst was linked to 25% increased risk of death before the age of 65 in a study of 1,500 people followed since the 1920s. Those classified as very happy had 55% fewer deaths from all causes and 23% less heart problems than those considered pessimistic. So on average, the optimist who looked at aging as a positive thing lived about 7.5 years longer. So that's the source of that one. Studies show that stress can be a stronger predictor of dying than medical indicators, such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high triglycerides. So that's from the British Medical Journal. Another article showed that depression hastens heart disease. They found that inflammatory chemical that inflames the heart and blood vessels. This chemical is present twice as much in depressed subjects. Again, your thinking affects your physiology, and as you think, so shall you be. Scientific American Mind. So that's another great little article about why you should think well. Dr. Hammer, famous cancer researcher, states, I went looking for cancer in all the body cells and found it in the form of wrong coding in the brain. He concluded any cancer starts when emotional trauma occurs. So that's pretty intense stuff. The strongest predictor of which men would get cancer decades later turned out to be was not smoking or obesity, but rather the lack of a close relationship with their fathers 50 years before. Johns Hopkins Medical. Lack of emotional support has a greater risk factor for disease and death than smoking. A study found that those men who had reported being under serious emotional stress at the time of their initial exam, who were experiencing financial troubles, feeling insecure at work, defending illegal action, or going through a divorce, had more than triple the risk of dying during the 7 years following the initial exam. Being under these kind of stresses at the beginning of the study turned out to be a stronger predictor of dying within the ensuing 7 years than medical indicators such as high blood pressure, high concentration of blood triglycerides, or high serum cholesterol levels. So there's another great little article showing you that you should be thinking well. Dean Harnish describes reviewing the scientific literature and was amazed by what a powerful difference love and relationships make on the incidence of disease and premature death. I am not aware of any other factor, not diet, not smoking, not exercise, not stress, not genetics, not drugs, not surgery, that has a greater impact on our quality of life, incidence of illness, and premature death from all causes. So, recent studies show that multiple stressful experiences in childhood create an increased risk of chronic pain, back pain later in life. Again, chronic stress leads to physical symptoms. Maintain regular adjustments and have your children checked. So, it's just showing that if you have a lot of stress in your life, you're going to have more back pain. It's a clinical journal of pain. So, the subconscious mind, your thoughts affect your physiology. So, health's homeostasis. So, the mind is like fertile soil. Whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians. The subconscious mind. Stress physiology is the perfect response to emotions of stress, fear, anxiety, worry, guilt, anger, etc. Survival. Stress doesn't even need to be a real threat. Werewolves can even be a real threat for memory. The body responds perfectly either to the way God made you or to the interference you put there through the way you eat, move, and think. This means that disease is a perfect response to interference. You can fight the disease and by removing the interference. So I love this little study, and we're going to run out of time here. But this is we'll start up next time with this when we get to the Think Well workshop. But this is a nice little one that shows from an MRI that you just can't quit thinking. You're actually going to do the opposites. But we'll get into that because it's just so interesting to see how you think affects your physiology of your body and your health.